Hello and welcome to another episode of Travel Better. My name's Hannah. I am your Sustainable Adventure Travel Specialist, and I'm really excited to be joined by Kent Phillips today, who's coming to us from Exodus Travels. Thank you so much for being here, Kent.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited to talk more about Exodus and everything that you guys do. So let us know.
Looking forward to it.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Exodus Travels and sort of what makes you different from other small group tour operators?
Sure. I'll just, I'm going to move my slides here, if that's okay.
Sure.
So here we are. So thanks for joining us and thanks for having me. Again, yes, my name is Kent Phillips. I'm the business development manager for Exodus Travels in North America, or at least one of them. And we are a tour operator that's actually been around almost 48 years, if you can believe it. So close to 50 years, which is incredible testament to the amazing work and the staff and the people we work with abroad in all the countries we visit. And so I'll kind of give you a snapshot of what we do. You can see here, we cover a little bit of everything. So cycling, walking and hiking, culture, responsible wildlife. And it's all about small group travel and very importantly, as we're talking about sustainable small group travel. So, getting into the heart of the countries, employing local people and traditionally for a lot of the travel industry, if you go years back, a lot of these communities, a lot of these regions didn't benefit from tourism. So you could say, well, lots of people go to Italy, lots of people go to Africa, lots of people go to Southeast Asia, but they were all going to the same main areas, that would get those boosts of tourism. But, as the little ones or the less visited people from these communities were not benefiting from tourism. And I think, that's one of the things I love about this company. They've always, sought after these places, kind of getting away from mass tourism and getting into the heart of the country to really explore, what it is about that makes that country special. And also you can't really get an idea of a place until you, again, get into the different regions, because you can go, I use Italy for an example, because it's where we operate a lot of trips, but there's so many different places and destinations within a country. And they vary, and so when you travel, it's not about, you can go to Italy a million times, you'll see it for a different, totally different side of it, a totally different culture, different people, food, whatever it is. So here we are, Exodus Travels. We are the world leader in active travel. It's been something we've been doing for, longer than anyone out there. And it's something that I'm very passionate about. I love active travel myself. I love cycling trips, like I said, 48 years of experience. So we've been doing it for a long time, award-winning guides. And again, we talk about, what impact we have in these local communities. We hire local leaders. These are people from the communities we visit. I'm not taking groups out in a place that I'm not as familiar with. I can't just read about it in the guidebook and say, okay, I'm your guide. It doesn't work that way. We want to empower and we want to employ local people. We want to be welcomed into these places that we visit, and are very proud of the fact that we can go to all these places, over 109 different countries in the world, 500 plus itineraries. So a little bit of everything. And again, it's small groups. So we'll talk about that briefly. And I think more importantly than ever, that's what people are more comfortable with. It's more intimate. You get a lot more time. You get to know your leader. You get to know your other travelers. You get to know the places you visit because you are in a smaller group, and it makes a big difference on how you will experience your holiday. And, key is responsible travel. So how do we operate in these countries? And I know, Hannah, that's something that you're passionate about as well.
Definitely, yeah.
So we'll be talking about that as well. So small groups, again, my favorite way to travel, average group size is 12, max 16. We also do self-guided, and self-guided has really taken off, and it's an amazing, sustainable way to travel, because it could just be you and your traveling partner, your husband, your wife, your friend, whatever that may be. Families are going on them, and you kind of take an itinerary. I call it the roots of the bones of the trip organized. So, it's predominantly in Europe. You'll have, leisurely to moderate cycling and walking trips, but you go at your own leisure. So, accommodations booked, transport of your luggage, detailed route notes. If it's a cycling trip, you get your bike set up. Everything is there, but you have a little more independent freedom. And again, you're going into these places that are beautiful and remote, and getting to know local culture and going at your own pace.
Right.
and not being, because not everyone's a group traveler, not
Right.
everyone was comfortable, even if it is a small group. And lots of solo travelers as well. Especially we have, I think about 65%, if not more, solo travelers are women, more and more women traveling with us than ever before. And, on a regular set trip, you'll get a nice mix of couples, friends, and solo travelers. Any questions so far, Hannah?
So far, so good. I love this. And I think you're so right that, small group trips are fantastic, but it's not for everyone. So I love that you offer so many different styles as well.
And I think that's important too. And the word I use often too is accessible. So we are a company that's accessible to all types of travelers. So, not everyone wants to go on a cycling holiday, even though you should. And not everyone's going to do a walking holiday, but you can go, like my parents who are in their mid-70s, they did a walking and wine in Portugal. You're not walking, 10, 15 kilometers a day. It's more of a leisurely walk through the region, stop at the winery, enjoy the local culture, stay in these beautiful boutique hotels.
Yeah.
Perfect for them. Or you have those, the bucket listers, the goal-oriented travelers that want to go hike Kilimanjaro in Africa. They want to do the Inca Trail, Peru. They want to go to Nepal and do some of the beautiful Himalayan regions. So you're going to get a contrast of travelers, or just a typical small group cultural experience. So there is something for everybody, and that's important as well. We don't want to just pigeonhole as we only do these challenging active trips. We do a little bit of everything. And it's important that because we know there's people out there that have different desires and different needs and different, places that they want to visit. So that's also imperative. And the other thing too is, and I think it's something I learned, and it's also something I love about the adventure market and our company, is the places that we stay. Sorry, this keeps bouncing ahead. And again, we're not staying in big chain corporate hotels. We're staying in these beautiful, clean, comfortable, authentic properties. A lot of these are family run. They've been run for generations by the family, and they all work there. And it's hospitable, and it's warm, and they're kind. And a lot of them will have a little restaurant where it's all locally sourced food, or in Europe, they call it the slow food movement. You're going to eat healthy, you're going to feel healthy. And especially if you are going towards, living a healthier lifestyle at home and being more sustainable at home, why not take that abroad when you travel?
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love how you really get that authentic connection with the family, right? You really get that sort of authentic feel for the country and their cuisine too.
Absolutely. And you sleep better.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a big difference between staying in a 15, 20 room chalet or boutique hotel and staying in hundreds of room hotels in a big city where there's so much going on. And to me, that's not a refreshing, mindfulness holiday.
Yeah.
You want to get away. But, we have especially North Americans, we're so busy, and a lot of stress and a lot of pressure and everything the last 2 years, especially. When I go away, I want to feel calm. I want to feel like I'm going to come home refreshed and rejuvenated and excited. And a lot of that has to do with where you're staying.
Right.
Well, that's important too.
Yeah. After a 200-kilometer bike ride, maybe too.
Yeah, exactly. And a cold beverage at the end is nice.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Well, definitely. Why don't you tell us more about the different kinds of trips that you offer? I know we have walking and hiking here. We talked about cycling, but
yeah, we'll start with that. And again, quickly going through them, there's so much more to explore, but walking and hiking. And I did mention everything from leisurely, so a lot of those, the more leisurely walking and wine in Portugal, or Prosecco Hills in northern Italy, Chianti region, those are very popular, to a little bit more challenging. So just depending on where you're at. So Mont Blanc in Europe is big. Like I said, Kilimanjaro in Africa, the Everest area in Nepal. And I always use this one because it is our number one trip. People love Italy. I love Italy.
Me too.
People love the Amalfi Coast. And here, for all those reasons I mentioned, we have an amazing local guides in Italy. We stay at a boutique family-run hotel, which is incredible, run by two brothers. The grandma's always in the kitchen. You can do a cooking course. You have the incredible area to go, one of the best places to walk in the world, archaeological ruins. It has everything. So walking and hiking really have become popular and amazing experiences to take on. And Europe is the number one destination, but we do them around the world. Cycling, I'll never say enough. I never was a cyclist, to be honest. I did a little bit here and there, like everyone, and now I'm hooked. I've never seen a country like I have on two wheels. You see so much more. It's exhilarating. You meet amazing people. You get into places that no one else gets to see, and the landscape of the country really opens up to you. And the best time to go, which is when we do them, is spring and fall.
Okay.
Typically, or if it is in Asia or other parts of the world, we're following the season cycles, and that's really important. You don't need a bike. We include the bikes. We just need your height. You bring your own helmet, whatever gear you want. I have a gel seat because my bum gets a bit sore. Whatever gear you want, but we take care of the bikes. And there's electric bikes, which you can hire.
Perfect.
So if people are maybe going in the first time, or there's two people at different levels, one on a regular bike, one on an electric bike, those have really changed. And again, using that word accessible, made it accessible for more people. And a support vehicle. You can get off at any time, throw your bike on the trailer, head out to our beautiful lunch spot, maybe, where a lot of them are in national parks or amazing areas. So that's important too. Cool. And I know you asked, and everyone asked, what's your favorite trip? Oh, I could go on and on for hours. I'm going to use my latest because it was the last time I had a big international trip. It was Puglia, Matera in Italy, a place that's not even talked about much in North America. Because again, as I said, everyone knows Florence and Rome and Venice. No one talks about, and that's what I mean, getting into other areas that are just incredible, more off the beaten path, more affordable, beautiful. The weather's better because they're closer to the Mediterranean. So you go south. And when I was there, it was late fall, 25 degrees Celsius, swimming in the sea, enjoying amazing seafood, wine, incredible cycling group. Christina, the guide, was phenomenal. Just the warmest person I've ever met. And the scenery and incredible bike routes they have in Europe, dedicated to cyclists, and just a fantastic place to go. And you can do a cultural trip there. You can do a self-guided walking trip there. Again, all different styles. And then cycling the Baltics is another one. One of my favorite trips, incredible, motivated, just motivational people I met, and inspiring people I met. One of the gentlemen had some severe health issues, 70 years old, great sense of humor, wasn't going to let anything stop him. Those are the type of people you get. So just an incredible bond you have with people when you do active holidays as well. And the Baltics is a part, and you're seeing Eastern Europe in that region. I would highly recommend for those looking to go to Europe or go back. Just beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that, like that sense of community that you create by, meeting these people you've never met before, and then they become friends for life, right?
Well, one of them's Rich right here. We're on our tandem bike. I met Rich in Jordan. He's from the UK, and he's become good friends with mine. We've traveled now together, and we stay in touch. Those are the type of people you meet. So after meeting in Jordan, he decided to come do this cycling trip in the Baltics. We were meant to do another one. Sadly, things happened in the last 2 years, but you meet lifelong friends, and you just, as you can see, we're happy and having a laugh. And
oh, that's so cool.
And then we'll just quickly, just a few others before we talk more about sustainability and such. Cultural. So you don't want to go on a bike. You're not really into the walking holidays. So many cultural experiences. I see Egypt in your background, one of our most popular ones. Greece. A lot of people go to Greece and only do the islands or Mediterranean cruise, where there's a lot more to explore in Greece. If you have an interest in history and archaeology, Greece is phenomenal. You learn about it when you're a kid, of course, and draw all the pictures and learn about the great gods and goddesses. And so, it's great to piggyback on an island trip or a Mediterranean cruise with a highlights of ancient Greece, and you go along with an archaeological guide and learn so much more than you ever would, because a lot of people just use Greece or Athens, if you will, just as a stopping point, but they don't know anything about the mainland. So there are some great opportunities for, if you have more time to look at doing, I'm doing a Mediterranean cruise or doing an island hopping trip in Santorini and what have you, and going that route. So some really good cultural options.
I think mainland Greece is very underrated, for sure. Like you said, people go to Athens and then they go to Santorini or making
1 day or 2 day in Athens, and I'm like, I don't like it here.
Yeah.
Give me
There's
to the
so
islands.
much to see. Yeah. And it's so much more authentic. I mean, not the islands are great too, but I feel like you really get that Greek culture when you're mainland.
Exactly. And then we talked about self-guided, right? So this one is huge. And I think we're getting more and more interest and demand for this than ever before, because again, people either feel more comfortable doing their own thing, or they're not into group travel. So with self-guided, again, it's predominantly in Europe, but again, more leisurely to the moderate trips, but tons in Italy, France, Spain, all over Europe, and incredible experiences, wonderful accommodation, a lot of meals included. Everything is set up for you, but you go at your own pace. And that's why I think the self-guided is a wonderful, sustainable option for travelers out there.
I love that too. Even like COVID wise, being with your bubble or with your group, that then
families, multi-generational groups. We had a lot of that as well. So a really good opportunity if you're looking at something different and something more, contained within your familiarity of family, friends, what have you.
Awesome.
Small ships, hey, look, matching pyramids.
Oh yeah, I'm right there.
Well, I have to say, I was supposed to host a trip to Egypt May of beginning of COVID. Sadly, didn't happen. I'd been there years before, but small ships. Again, you don't have a lot of people on these. We have, Galapagos, Egypt, a few specialty trips as well that you can look at with Exodus Travels. And this is one of our most popular. It's a premium Nile cruise, 9 days. You can see there, our group is only max 20, the group max 100.
Right. Oh, that's amazing. Like you said, with the small ship adventures, like you're seeing a side of that country, like that you really don't get to see from the water. It's so special. That's really cool.
Absolutely. So lots of, and again, I know cruising is really popular, whether it be river cruising or what have you, but there are some specialty trips out there, and I would highlight Galapagos as one of them too, for that, the flora and the fauna. Responsible wildlife tourism is a really good opportunity too in South America.
Well, you've mentioned sustainability quite a few times, and so I'm excited to talk a bit more about how you embed sustainability into your trips and into your organization. So tell us more about that.
So I think first of all, the thing to point out, and it's why I love doing what I do, and it's why I love this company, is it's putting people before profit. And I've noticed it, always noticed it, but noticed it even more so in the last 2 years with what's been going on in the industry and what's been going on. It's been a tough road, it's been challenging, but the amount of work that has gone into improving what we do, how we can operate better, how we can cut our carbon footprint, how we can help sustain these communities, how we can give back to the people that have shown our clientele such amazing experiences. That's what a lot of the work for Exodus has gone into. So I won't go through all of these, but there's a couple key points. So improving lives for people, places, and the planet. That's important. So I'll just read it to you here. We believe that travel should improve life for people and places visited. Our people, places, and planet plan lays out ways in which life can be improved through travel, which is, why I love it. For places visited, local people, and the planet, including commitment to ensure our adventures are nature net positive, giving back far more of this planet and its ecosystems that they take. And I know before we started, we were talking about our new Restoring Italy's Wild documentary done by our very talented Ollie Pemberton. And that's been selected. And I have a feeling it's going to be shown at a lot of film premieres and festivals, and it's incredible. It's kind of going into the heartland of Europe, some of these ecosystems, which are fragile, right, between cities and farming and wildlife, and how everyone can coexist for a sustainable ecosystem. And so it's a really wonderful film. I insist. It's again Restoring Italy's Wild, and again, there's going to be a lot more talk around this, and I think it's something important to discuss. So, the key areas that we talk about is employment. So as I said, when we're going into the heart of these countries, a lot of these places that are visited by adventure tour operators and what have you, tourism was quite new to them up until, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And so it's not just benefiting the major tourist sites around the world and the major areas that get visited. It's going into the heart of these places and empowering local communities and marginalized groups as well. And one of the big ones I think too is a wonderful story about work that we've done with our female porters in Kilimanjaro in Africa. Predominantly guiding for many years was male dominated. and it's changing, and that's important. And it's also changing because of who travels. I'd say a lot more women travel than men, and a lot of solo women, as we talked about. And so, we have made it a really important initiative to hire more female guides. And the Kilimanjaro project, there's a video on as well, was hiring local women that didn't have these opportunities to become porters and be empowered and to take groups up on the hike. So that's kind of a way, one of the few ways of empowering locals to be our leaders, and they're the key cog in the whole operation of a successful tour.
No, you're so right. I think like the people of that place are going to make the trip really what it is. If you're getting good guides and you're getting people who are excited to be part of your, your tour, then that the whole experience for not only for the tour guide, but also for the visitors, it's just heightened, right? So it's cool when that can reciprocate on both sides.
Yeah. So we talk about gender equality and across the globe. Education is important. So a lot goes into this. We don't just hire someone and then, okay, take our group. It doesn't work that way. There is a lot behind the scenes on educating and such. And these, I've met them and toured with them. Incredible people, amazing backgrounds, and very kind. Another one that's really important that often gets lost is highest standards in child protection. And we actually do the last few years, a really amazing project where we take kids from the communities we visit out on day trips with our local guides. And it's incredible because we take it for granted. We don't realize that if you're in Cambodia, children don't get to see the Angkor Wat, or in Egypt, don't get to go see the pyramids, or in China get to go see the Great Wall of China. We get to do that, but people in their own backyard don't get to do it. So we've done an amazing initiative taking kids out on day trips with our guides. And again, we want them to be the future leaders, and we want them to understand the role of environment and tourism and how it can coexist and how important it is for their region. And then, a few others, of course, really important is protection of traditional and cultural heritage. We're not there to go in and tell you how, what culture is okay, what language is okay, what, what part of your society you need. No, this is your culture, your society, your history that we need to make sure that is learned by your people, and also shared with the travelers to know, there has to be a mutual respect. I think cultural respect is really important, and tradition is really important. And then disaster relief is another one. There's been so many, you see that with climate change, and so many, and sadly it happens in a lot of poor countries, and it's how you respond to that. And that's really positive. And then quickly moving on to the one that we've worked really hard at this past year is, as it says here, the Places and Planet pillar focuses on our nature net positive commitment, including, a lot of talk lately on having our carbon footprint. So having Exodus Travel's carbon footprint by 2030. So making sure that we do our bit to reduce our carbon footprints, rewilding 100 square meters for every passenger. That's part of our rewilding project in the Italy documentary. Compensating for all trips and flight emissions, eliminating all plastic. We do not allow plastic bottles anymore on our trips, and are trying to do our part, because sadly you do see piles of rubbish and plastic. It's happening around the world. Thing is, in our own backyard we hide it, whereas in other countries they don't have the infrastructure, they don't have the means or the budget to always deal with it. So it's something that we have to reduce as well. And for me, one that I'm really a big believer in is animal welfare, sustainable, natural wildlife tourism, because sadly, again, a lot of this is still not being practiced within and in certain areas of the world. And so it's important that when you yourself, and when we educate ourselves or our clients going on trips that involve wildlife, we know exactly what to expect and what we're getting into. Are they in their natural habitat? And is it sustainable? And that's important. So lots to, we could go on for hours about it. And a lot of that you can look at. We have a page on our website, the Exodus Travels Foundation, and the work going towards it. So that's important to note as well.
One quick question for me. So I know you mentioned about offsetting some of the emissions from your trips. Do you carbon offset all of your trips, or how does that work?
Pretty much, yeah. So we calculate everything. So, if there are flights involved, we don't typically include our flights in North America, but we have some going for our UK clients coming into certain countries, or, everything, train travel or interflights. So we calculate, all the stats and all, and then we're again kind of matching that as well.
Okay.
And it's someone's job,
Okay.
basically. That we have a head of our sustainability projects and management, and it's, I give them all the credit in the world. It's a tough job, but yes, they are focusing on making sure that we offset every single one. And I think that's why it's important when you choose a holiday, exactly, am I doing good? Am I, is this the right trip? Is the company I'm traveling with taking all these things into consideration, the environment, the local people, because it's not about what's the cheapest trip out there, what's the, what looks the flashiest. There's so much more that goes into it. So you have to kind of look at all parts of a holiday and choose wisely and carefully, and ask the hard questions to make sure it is, because I think it's more important than ever that we do take care when we are traveling, and it's the little things. It's learning about where we're going. It's learning about, culture and what to do, what not to do, how to be respectful of the people, of the land, of the places that we visit.
Definitely. I think sustainability is definitely that holistic view of, we want to protect the environment, but we also have to think about the local people and the local economy, and make sure that we're not only minimizing our impact on the environment, but maximizing our impact on the people. So I love that you really take that into account with your trips and throughout your organization. That's awesome.
Thank you. And there's always more work to be done and more education for all of us, right? It's a step by step, but we're slowly getting there. And I think everybody is slowly paying attention.
Definitely. I don't know if you offer any trips like in Canada or the US, or like in North America, if that's coming up?
We have a few. I mean, obviously I would say our focus is more kind of abroad, like Europe's number one for us, followed by Asia, Africa, Latin America. That's definitely where the majority of our focus is. In saying that, we do have a few trips. We do some national park trips within the US, Alaska, Yellowstone, places like that. In Canada, we have a few as well, Rocky Mountains, Maritimes, not a ton. Again, I think our focus is predominantly overseas, if you will.
Right.
But there are a few on there, because and again, I know domestic travel obviously has been front and center the last 3 years, so we couldn't travel abroad as much. But things are changing. We're getting there slowly.
No, I feel it. I feel like people are ready to get out of their homes and their provinces and travel abroad. So yeah, that's very exciting.
And I think that's the thing too. You talk to specialists like yourself, and we're always here to answer questions, and we're lucky, right? In this industry, we get to travel or past tense, but we will get there again. But we have the experience. I mean, I'm blessed every day to do what I do and be able to travel the world and see. And I hope that, we can enlighten people on answering those questions and giving them our best advice.
Definitely. Yeah, I think education is a huge piece for me, and making sure that people understand that, you can travel sustainably and not have to compromise on, getting the most amazing trip. So you can still have nice accommodations, and you can still see a lot of places, but you can give back to the communities that you visit.
And it doesn't have to cost a fortune, because I think that's the other misconception is everything you talk about, does that mean this is only luxury, or this is for people with all the money in the world? Absolutely not. These are still very moderately priced trips, and again, anyone should be able to go on these, or hopefully save up to go on one of these. It's not going to break the bank.
Yeah. No, I love that. Well, I think that's a great place to finish, and hopefully our viewers will continue to check out Exodus Travels. And I can't wait to talk all about Exodus to all of my clients. So thank you so much for being here, Kent.
Thanks, Hannah.
I appreciate your time, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone. Hope to see you on a trip one of these days.
Great. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Travel Better with Kent Phillips from Exodus Travels. I'll link their website and social media below so you can keep checking out their incredible trips and maybe start planning a future vacation. Thanks again for joining, and I'll see you next time.